Greetings and salutations, my little reprobate rat bricks. How are we all feeling today? This is a terrible day, I'll point out. It's cold outside. I'm old enough to the point where that makes my joint aches. And ironically, it does now. Whenever it's like minus 30 outside, my knees ache, and I'm like, wow, this means I am ancient. But it also means that I have gained a superpower, being able to judge the temperature outside without having to open my window. It may not be the most exciting of superpowers, I admit, but, you know, you take what you can get, really. Right. Off we go to search for Argenta's figment of her imagination. I think there was also, like, what was it? There was another planet we needed to do. Oh, we also need to falsify some documents for that wench we picked up on that little piece of shit station or whatever. Thing. Something. Oh. Hello, servant. The Lady Navigator's valet greets you with a deep bow and humbly delivers a tasteful scroll inviting you to a private meeting. God help me. Are we going to start with Little Kitten already? I was kind of in the mood to shoot something, not dance diplomatically around my little cinnamon bun kitten. But then again, you know. Boku no nabe wa kona ni kawaii desu ga wake ga nai is also interesting. Oh. Well, she certainly got herself a decent little house here aboard my ship, and I presume that's the library I bought for her. Right in her sleeping chambers. I don't know if I'd keep a library in my sleeping chambers. I don't know. Feels dusty in a way. Cassia is completely absorbed in admiring the shelves of her new personal library, which are all but buckling under the weight of gilded and leather-bound tomes. Upon noticing you, she smiles, barely able to stop herself from rushing to meet you. Ah, like a tiny little kitten. Her tail all astride, raised. Okay, well, the library was the correct choice then. Women do enjoy bribes. This is something I have experienced personally. His Supreme Glorious Greatness Sir Ash of Terror. Even in her excitement, she does not forget about the titles. Very good. How did you procure all these works? By the throne, even your personal collection doesn't have them. I would have remembered. So many unexplored worlds and stories, dozens of unstudied essays. I'm utterly astounded, thank you. I could not have dreamt of a better gift. Ah, good. Good. I have no idea where I fetched half of it, incidentally, but that doesn't matter.
Heresy's the question.
I was not certain if engaging in this long-forgotten noble ritual was prudent of me, and yet you did everything in accordance with the customs of etiquette. I must admit I rather enjoyed this game. I hope you did too. Well, enjoy is a strong word, my little cinnamon bun kitten, but that is not something we're going to be telling you. And hey, you know, honestly, come to think of it, if all women engaged in codified rituals, if they played games that actually had rules, I actually think that would be an improvement upon, you know, the current year, where we still engage in games, it's just that nobody knows why, or how, or what the fucking rules are, for that matter. Let's see. So trials. So me. To touch your hand? Oh God. Hand holding. oh boy. All right, we're really starting to get into some deep fucking perversions now. Christ, is this legal on YouTube? I don't know. That's some deviancy right there. It was amusing, but no more than that. Well, that one's obviously the wrong, so get that away. Symbolic gesture of nobility? Nope, definitely not. It's 1 or 3. Those are the only ones. I mean, 1's decent, but 3... the eroticism of hand-holding. I don't know. I don't know if I can resist such perversions. I mean, there's some pretty heavy-duty shit on your average hentai site, but nothing compared to this. I do in fact believe that it is illegal in most nations. Yeah, we're gonna have to go for the hand-holding. I can't imagine anything filthier to do here. We better send the servants away, otherwise we're going to really give him something nasty to fantasize about. Oof, Jesus no. Alright, well, she's pregnant now, that's for sure. And yes, as if to illustrate the impropriety of hand-holding, apparently the immaterium has intruded upon reality. Yes, do not hold hands, children. It'll cause Satan himself to pop out of the fabric of reality. A second later, an invisible force envelops you with a swirling torrent of emotions, and your heart skips every other beat. Ah. Cardiac arrest. An unfortunate consequence of hand-holding, yet not an unexpected one. When Cassia's powers recedes, the austere reserve on her face is replaced for the first time by passion. I can't help but feel like this is going to severely endanger my health, but oh well. In her eyes, the curve of her lip, the slight tilt of her head, with a small nod and a smile on reddened lips, she holds out her hand, trembling. God help me. We are actually full forcing the anime hand-holding meme, aren't we? Tenderly squeeze, cover Cassia's kiss. Ah, holy shit. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to censor this on YouTube, but give me about a moment. Don't mind the loud thumping noises. I just have to go fetch a pair of sunglasses to cover mine Augen for this. Jesus. Right. Apply mouth to hand. The ultimate transgression against decency. Oh, well, that was quick. I somehow felt as if this was a slightly more measured and drawn-out moment, but if the video game disagrees. Awkwardly averting her eyes, Cassia hides her blushing face behind a curtain of silver hair. In that case, Lord Captain, what I meant to say is, your servants have done a marvelous in their efforts to adapt these tables to my needs and tastes. Aha.
I have lost.
We have elected to to pivot over to discussing furniture, have we? If I may, I would like to retire after Archer's day, and we shall see each other tomorrow. What? Was that it? Right, well, the Lady Navigator needs to withdraw to furiously slick herself after that vicious moment of extreme eroticism. I understand. I'm a pinch disappointed that this could not be a, mutual session, but I suppose blue balls is an aspect of this ritual as well. I mean, the flower she sent me was blue, so... Gray, on Streamlabs. Evening, Arch. Wishing you fruitful conquest of ladies' hearts. Also, high five for stream fund. God damn it. Alright. At this rate, you're going to be funding the entire Hi-Fi Rush stream thing on your own. I mean, if that happens to be the case, so be it. Noted. The whole said it. I almost lost a finger to a hedge trimmer, so every time it's cold and wet, the scar hurts. Fear my superpowers. Why were you trying to stroke the hedge trimmer? Most unfortunate. Sam Doom says, today has been alright, except it's been pouring raining all day. Currently building Cataphracti Terminators, my personal favourite Terminator variant. The Cataphracti do look cool, I must admit. Especially as I hate a lot of the other ones, like the Aggressors, which are basically Terminators, but bigger and dumber. I do loathe those. Young son, I'm now patron. How do I become a worshipper? Those are two separate things. Patron is via Patreon. Bridge God Worshipper is via the YouTube subscription thingy. I know, it's a bit retarded, but such is life. The real horse said it. We don't know the rules, but if you break them, it's the end of your career, freedom, and possibly life. Yes. If you make inopportune and improper approaches to a femoid in your company or in any professional environment, you may be unemployed for the rest of your life, but such are the risks if you wish to engage in aggressive hand-holding, I suppose. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman on the line, I can report that the quests for the capital world of the Von Francis dynasty is finally at an end. Dargonos is straight ahead. We have received countless greetings. Your subjects would like to know when their master will be arriving. The merchant captain taking refuge in the orbital docks of Dargonos race to send you priceless welcoming gifts, hoping to buy your favor and to make an impression on the rogue trader. Well, tell him I am coming home. It will be done, Lord Captain. Lord Captain, I will be pleased to accompany you during our visit to Dargonos, so I can personally introduce Achilles Scalander, a servant of the Golden Throne who previously attended Lady Theodora on Dargonos. I'm counting on your benevolence. Right. So Heinrich has himself some plans here too. Don't have any more extractor thingies. I am sure this mission will give me some. 10th grade nothing. How this will look before it was enveloped in a fiery shroud? Was it your ancestor Zelantak who disgorged its core in some ill-considered act? More likely it's just a lava planet, honey. You know, they're actually quite frequent. Not all lava worlds were created due to, random imperial exterminators. In fact, fairly few of them, everything considered. You blew this up, did you? As much as I enjoy your attributions of everything bad in the universe to humanity, giving us unequal power over literally everything, this was probably not my fault. Lord Captain, a transport shuttle bearing the markings of the Adeptus Mechanicus is approaching the ship. Magos Tarsus' delegation intends to board our ship and get an audience with your lordship. This is exactly how they phrased it. He intends not humbly requests. Well, we're going to have to open fire on his boat then. It is unfortunate, but such is life. Many of my tech comrades neglect diplomacy when interacting with the laity. It is regrettable. Yes. Yes. It's not a refusal of their request in any way. It's not even necessarily something they can take it as a calculated slight. And yet they will absolutely know that the piss is being taken from them. Do make them dock as the shittiest, furthest away airlock. And then tell them that all of the means of traversal across the ship, like, transit tracks or anything like that, all broken. Every last one of them. Not a single functional one. They're going to have to walk it. A most humane punishment, your lordship. Thank you, Victus. Requesting permission to be present at the audience granted to my tech comrades. Okie dokie. Christ almighty on a stick. Are we, we're not going to the planet yet, are we? So I don't need to bring Henrik's now, right? I'm hoping not.
Service guarantees citizenship.
I hope, at least. I remember the last time I was in this room, I got ambushed. I'm sure the same thing couldn't possibly happen twice. A group dressed in the crimson of the priesthood of Mars walks towards you. Their gazes are fixed on Pascal. You noted that the group is not monolithic. Some of its members are more heavily armed and follow a large tech priest clad in battle armor. Others keep a respectful distance and cast inquiring looks at their own leader, whose hunched posture belies his tall frame. Despite the hood hiding his face, you recognize him as Opticon 22, whom you encountered on Footfall. How exactly did he get here before me? Thou shalt not suffer a heretic in thy forge, for rust begets rust. Pascal Hanneman, in the name of the Adeptus Mechanicus, you are under arrest. I was about to say, they're going to accuse him of being a heretic, aren't they? And yes, here we are. Diplomacy mode engaged. Announcement. The Adeptus Mechanicus offered their apologies, would like to inform you of the necessity to conduct an operation to detain, arrest, terminate a faulty unit of the rogue trader's territory. Alright. You identify the rare armor of the enormous tech priest is wearing as a secutor's plated mechanized suit. It carries the imprint of many battles and has markings that announce its status as a relic. Some of the armor's damage looks fairly severe to the point of endangering its operations. The slivers of flesh revealed under steel are marked with terrible chemical burns. Every now and then, convulsions shake the tech priest's body, and a painful sounding hiss comes from his vox. The tall tech priest who spoke to you looks more peaceful and makes a point of not drawing his weapon. There is an air of concern about the way he frequently glances over his fellow, scrutinizing his conditions. Well, that's sketchy. On what charges are you trying to arrest a member of my retinue? This heretic is accused of stealing personal identification codes, spreading tech heresy on the world of Kiawagama, and making an attempt on the life of a servant of the Omnisire. The faulty unit will be removed in the name of the Omnisire. I condemn you. Lightning flash across the boy's armor. You are malfunctioning, Techromad. I deem your logical conclusions questionable. Yeah, me too. He seems to be shaking with random electrical discharge. That's not normal. The statement is false. Tech brother Tarsus Hanneman is willingly undergoing holy torment deterioration. Aha! Right. So it's cock and ball torture, but the Mechanicus variant of it. Alright. Very holy. Very proper and good, yes. Does not critically affect his cognitive capacity for data analysis. I don't know. If a man is speaking to me about his logical acuities whilst having his nuts squeezed slowly by a contraption designed to cause him tremendous pain, I will question his ability to logic regardless of his statement to the opposite. Unit calling itself Pascal Hanneman, we have information that implicates you. Having learned that you are a member of the retinue, a maintenance specialist in the service of rogue trader von Valencius, we have come here with the goal of meeting you, intercepting you, engaging you in combat. Oh boy. Ah yes, credentials. Papieren bitte. Confirmed. According to the archive entry 1I99237, Magus Explorator Tarsus Hanneman served on, maintained the ship identified classified, in the capacity of her reliquary caretaker. He sustained extensive damage to both the organic and the sacred parts of his body in a series of sacrilegious breaches of the right of operation and assassination attempts. Owing to a statistically fortunate coincidence, by the Omnisire's grace, enough of his operational capacity was preserved for him to don a Goliath model sacred battle harness, which would preserve his vital functionality. Archive entry, personally data sealed by the captain of the Identifier classified. This still sounds fucking sketchy to me, bruh. For vengeance I thirst as I thread the path of vengeance. For vengeance I thirst as I tread the path of vengeance. Superfluous, but very well. Following a blasphemous miscreant's bloody tracks. Analysis of the security system show that the assassins/heretics infiltrated the reliquary using Tech Brother Tarsus's unique identification code. Someone had stolen, duplicated Brother Tarsus's identity, which is a grade 3 transgression, and the unit making the alleged criminal claim of being Pascal Hanneman is known to have previously entered the stolen code. Aha, so this goes back to Pascal's supposed mentor. What is happening on Kiawagama? According to Vox interception data, the planet's fabricator sensor made incorrect blasphemous modifications to manufacture and workings procedures for qualified lapse anti-sacrilege. The Adeptus Mechanicus are hereby officially notifying House von Valencius of having commenced an investigation into operation to remove fabricator sensor Suffius Delphim. Estimated time to procedure completion 3.7 solar years. That's the Forge world which the creepy ship came from. Oh boy, we are getting some dense, gosh darn nonsense here, aren't we? Our data suggests that the unit which used Magos Explorator Hanneman's identification code performed an unauthorized upgrade on the planetary Vox array and introduced data deemed to be scrap code into its operation. This fact points to this unit's criminal complicity with the heretic Cubis Delphim. But he couldn't have done that because he wasn't on the planet at the time. Right? What do you have to say to this, Pascal? I deny these charges. I never plotted against my tech comrades. My cognitive purity vows were never distorted. My unique identification code was never stolen. I am the true Magos Explorator Hanneman, and I am not guilty. Aha, well, if you say so. Alright. More Papieren, bitte, Papieren. Request approved. Ready to work in cooperative mode. Tarsus gives you a haughty look and lets out a howl of wrath. Archiving. Tech Brother Tarsus opposed lay participation in the investigation search for truth. Unit Opticon 22 advises in favor of the House Fonfluencer representatives' participation requests. Okay. So Tarsus is not particularly fond of speaking, but Opticon is apparently willing. Well, I don't know if I can swear that he's not a criminal. He's a bit of a dirty bastard, after all, and he looks weird, like a bit of a mechanized femboy, so I'll insist on joining the investigations, but I shan't vote for him just yet. A request for cooperation reviewed and accepted. I request Tech Brother Tarsus consent to the co-participation of representatives of the Fonfluences dynasty in the investigation proceedings. A sacrilegious conspiracy. I refuse help from lay persons. I am a cog of the Deus Mechanicus that grinds down corruption, and I will carry out the sentence immediately. Oh, good. Pascal freezes, but the green sparks light up his visor. He extends a hand towards Tarsus and replies in a clanging voice, "Let the cycle be discontinued." Attention, priority notification. Service units of the Kappa Thread Supply Lines are unauthorized to confront the rogue trader. Command, retreat and reinitiate negotiations. We are moving on to diplomacy by other means, I presume.
Submit, and you'll die quickly.
Yep, we are.
Surrender to the dark powers.
Surrender to the dark powers. Now, I don't know for certain, of course. That could mean anything. There is a number of ways we could perhaps justify his demand that I surrender to the dark powers. Perhaps he's meaning this in a metaphorical manner. Perhaps he's meaning this as in that since I have already surrendered due to sheltering a heretic, I merely just, fully give in. Or maybe he's just actually simply declaring that no, he is actually a heretic traitor. I feel as if the latter explanation is perhaps the most likely one, but hey! Details and obfuscation and all of that, right? It really disappoints me that the Heavy Flamer doesn't have a bit more of a, wide wash to it. Alright. As the line seems to never quite be, linear in this video game.
Doubt is for the weak.
A wonderful example of that. And then switch over to Heavy Bolter and prepare to go for Alter as soon as it's your turn. Oh boy.
Me?
Yes, I believe so.
If you insist, Lord Captain. Isn't this a
And a
job
little
for
bit of
the
a line
serfs?
nuke as well.
You don't frighten me. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
It seems like the Adeptus Mechanicus heresy is extending significantly further than I might have anticipated. Oh well. Right, shoot the big guy. Tarsus's turn is up next. Alright, in which case shooting the big guy is definitely a good idea. Can I shoot the big guy and everybody else? No. Okay, well, ka-thunk then.
This is why I was chosen.
I am mildly disappointed by the Heavy Bolter's abilities, honestly. Furious Recital, that'll give me loads of momentum. There you go. Almost enough, actually, to fire again. But not
As the
quite
Emperor
enough.
commands, I act. I refuse.
Come on.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Good job parrying that wide-scale discharge of... Oh, hello. Okay. Oh, they have an officer too this time. Oh, Jesus. I'm not used to the opposition actually having access to that as well. God, that could be cancerous, couldn't it? Right, I have refocused Arch because I'm getting sick of the sniper rifle. I want something a pinch more exotic, so I've given him the ability to dual-wield plasma pistols now, though I'm currently also using a needle gun. Because I like the idea of dual-wielding, that's pretty cute, right? Phew. And it also allows me to fire 2 shots, which is quite cute. Now, the second one comes at a -20 to aim, which is not ideal, but...
Not a problem for me.
it allows me to deal at least a little bit more damage, which I quite like. Tactical advantage, which... 19, okay.
Nothing I can't do.
Hopefully that'll be more adorable. Alright, Irelet. Well, that one's probably already dead, so don't worry about that one. Pick off the other
Ancestors
servitor.
guide
That will
me.
probably die due to the vortex of, you know, shit going on there.
I have lost.
Mark that one. And then set up a next
I
turn
am not
shot
your
against
Xenos
it.
pet monkey.
I don't see why you would want to do that.
My place is at the fore.
Ah, right. That's how that works. For some reason, I didn't think it worked that way. Just come over there.
I will do
Ah,
my duty.
that'll block the advance of anyone
It
else.
will be done.
Pull back your arm, prepare for a nice big whoop up,
Victory
and
is
smack.
imminent.
Well, as much as I would like to, there's really no point. Pascal, my darling little head attack. I'd actually prefer it if you were a head attack, because head attacks get access to some really cool shit.
Scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Like some really, really cool shit.
Running binaric override.
In the Rogue Trader rulebook, they get access to Orc tech, they get access to Eldar tech, they get access to fucking Necron tech. Like, you can use a Gauze Flayer if you're a head attack, which is pretty cute. Oh. I honestly thought that would kill them, but...
Another foe painted
Oh,
black.
never mind. It would kill them, just not right then. Tarsus. I almost feel like I shouldn't kill you already.
If I may,
Yeah, I really don't feel like these guys are Skitari, honestly. The Skitari are significantly
I am
tougher
a
than this.
navigator, not a servitor.
So the fact that they're falling over quite as quickly as
I'm
they
not
are is
accustomed to being ordered around.
very disappointing. Like, the Skitari have been given way too raw a deal of Games Workshop recently. Like, the Skitari are supposed to be basically walking fucking tanks. They are the... Well, in essence,
As the Emperor
how does this work,
commands,
actually? If I
I
kick
act.
him, nothing happens, because there's somebody blocking his... Yeah, of course, well... Yeah. I mean... That was predictable.
Guided
I was
by
just...
faith.
You know, disappointed that it didn't work
Shields
despite the
me.
fact that it really probably shouldn't work. I know, I'm unreasonable like that.
Doubt is for the weak.
Oh, right, Adelblad. Prepare to dodge like your life depends on it, because it does. Nice. But yes, the Skitari are supposed to be walking tanks. They are Space Marine equivalents, practically. Like, they can walk into hails of gunfire and just not care. Because they have... There's so little human of them left. They've got so much in the way of just superfluous systems that don't affect their ability to be alive anymore,
ahead.
that they can pretty much just eat countless hits without giving a
All
shit.
too easy. Stand a chance? Already done.
29%. I got that. Actually not.
Not a problem for me.
Adelblad, if you'd be so kind.
One fewer target.
Thank you. I thought you had a shot to take. I guess not.
If I must.
These are most definitively not Skitari. These are some sort of pathetic excuse for Skitari.
It will be done.
Oh no.
At your beck and
10 damage. Tragic.
Insignificant value.
Insignificant indeed. Pathetic, actually.
As duty demands.
And thus, another cluster of false Skitari have been dispatched. Right then, with a slight break in the violence, the Real Horsener says, I was tired after a day of pruning and digging. Well, there's your error. Too much pruning, too much digging. Sandoom says, do I contact via Discord for Ratbrick? Yes. Or Twitter if you've got the little blue checkmark thingy that allows you to send me messages. Nick Cordialis, you dare stream at the same time as White Fox? White Fox is always streaming. It's just gonna have to get over it. And Sajad, Cassia's point of interest is OP. Well worth it. Point of interest. What's that? Requesting cessation of hostilities. Pascal, what have you done? I am sorry that you had to kill comrades. I'm not tired at all. In fact, I can finish you off too. Do your worst. I mean, where's the option to say, like, oh, you know, your obviously heretical brethren lies over there. Perhaps you should, I don't know, check him out for weird scrawled insignia? Because he's almost certainly fallen to the exact same corruption that befell that ship. Meaning that they still think that they're doing this in the name of the Mechanicus when they're not. One. The unit that called itself Tarsus Hanneman is dead and has been disabled. This material asset is beyond restoration or reuse as spare parts. Despite his misconceptions, he was a servant of the Omnissiah. I don't know about that. Sorry, trying to kill comrade. I also have a negative assessment of this event. The Adeptus Mechanicus still accuse the unit identifying itself as Pascal Hanneman of criminal theft of a unique identification code. Unlike Tech Brother Tarsus, I am not authorized to immediately arrest/execute the unit, but neither am I authorized to drop the inquiry. There are no apostates among us. Tech Brother Tarsus and the machine spirit that lived in his battle harness succumbed to the suffering that beset them. Their judgment was rash and erroneous. Now their torment is over. I declare them martyrs, and I am requisitioning Tarsus Hanneman's neural augmetic for the purpose of preserving his blessed memory. Whatever you did, it's working. Keep going. Pascal, question mark. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here, to be honest. The tech priest makes an imperious gesture, stopping you from continuing. You saw the agony your tech brother Tarsus was in. His unbridled pain spurred faith, intimidated you, yet you were silent. Reverence stopped you from raising your voice to proclaim that the machine spirit with which his mind had merged was morbidly afflicted. The imperative of reverence had paralyzed your will, and you watched the tragedy unfold in silence. The sixth universal law states that comprehension is the true path to knowledge, yet the procedure cycle has robbed you of your comprehension. Therefore, let the cycle be discontinued. Let the cycle be discontinued. What just happened? Well, clearly the guy was a nutter. And since he was a nutter, we have I don't fucking know. Clearly, they was following the Nutter because the Nutter was doing something nutty that was beneficial to their faith. Pascal, however, believes that doing something nutty is in fact nutty, and he has now explained to the others that what they were thinking was nutty. I decided to sustain my words with an excerpt from one of the blessed Amaranthus' sermons on loss of internal and external function. Verse if my analysis deemed it appropriate. Sure. Request denied. The Kappa Thread supply line delegation is leaving Dargonus expresses gratitude for the hostility ceasefire and proclaim its intent to return to Footfall to resume performing its regular functions. Alright, well, bye, I guess. So, again, I'm pretty sure that he must be from that weird world
New challenge for me?
that is clearly affected by the scrap code. What is a bit confusing, though, is why the other adepts aren't seeing the scrap code for what it is. You'd think this be pretty fucking obvious.
Awaits.
It's like, look, he's obviously in pain. I don't think he can think straight. It's like, no. Sacred cock and ball torture does not in any way impair cognitive functions. I don't know about that. I really don't. Like, if there's a small metal jaw slightly and slowly biting down on your testicles, I am fairly certain it would, in fact, damage your ability to think rationally. It's also weird that the merchant would come all the way to Footfall to do this. Yeah. That shit just got me mildly confused, frankly. 10 weapon skill or 10 strength? Weapon skill, because weapon skill actually lets you hit things comparatively to the enemy's weapon skill, so it's better to actually hit them and do some damage rather than doing an additional point of damage. Fronfluence's Palace Administratum. Alright, that was where we needed to do the thing with J, wasn't it? Alright, so I don't need Heinrich's yet, but I do need Henrik's. Oh no, he doesn't tell me. Oh, I figured he'd be like insisting. Okay, right. Well, in that case, I'm gonna have to leave Adelblad behind, aren't I? Oh, that's gonna be painful. Okay, hold on. So Idira is a pay-for request, keeping her alive. So I guess we've got to bring Idira Heinrichs. Oh, this is an awful party structure, but we're going to suffer through it. Nightshroud says the Mechanicus Robert would probably say Coggenball. Oh, Coggenball torture. I don't know, it doesn't flow quite as well as Cockenball torture, which is ironic considering the nature of Cockenball torture. You know, it's always been fascinating how various religions have worked in physical penance into their doctrines.
My lead.
For the Christians, of course, it was a flagellation, which was meant to scour you of impure thoughts and sins. I wonder if the Muslims have anything similar. Like, do they engage in scourgification? I'm sure they
stand
do.
in my way.
I mean, you've got stuff like the jihad and the, oh god, what was it? There was like a special class of people that embarked on the jihads as a means of spiritual cleansing.
I won't tolerate weakness.
I can't remember the word
Heresy's
for it
question.
now.
Fire is the answer.
But I mean, the entire point of that was that they were going to go and die in God's will, basically. and hurting themselves in the process. The Christians had a variant of that as well, but they followed George S. Patton's ideals far more closely. Namely, that duty is not to die for your country, it is to make the other bastard die for his. Another noble, bypassing the queue under the pretext of just wanted to ask. All you highborns ever want is just to ask. But what about protocol? That's what I am asking. Who's going to follow protocol? Well, not I, because I am highborn. Well, so I paid off a few clerks to let us skip the queue. Shireen, your time is more important to me than any little formalities. True. Very well, don't just stand there. You're here now. What do you think? The Master of Seals has nothing better to do than receive unexpected visitors. Begin entry, current hour, current turn, current cycle, 41st millennium. My companion wishes to obtain a Marcutum Tabula Officiale. Let's not waste the poor bastard's time any more than we need. I'm sure he's very busy. I take it you are her sponsor. In that case, you must submit a written application in the conformity with Temple 40401A, as well as a written permission for the processing and authorization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Without it, I cannot issue Mistress Haydari. Mrs. Haydari, the form for collecting the seals required to obtain the Mercantum Tabula Officiale, certificate of an official trade representative. Seals? What seals? We will discuss that when His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Sir Arch of Terror von Valensis, has prepared the primary documentation. I mean, sure, if it's just one form, let's see. The perfectly sharpened quill scratches pleasantly on the parchment, but for the first few minutes the obfuscatory phrasing, footnotes, amendments, you're forced to write out the same detail over and over. About you, the Protectorate, Theodora von Valencius, J, and then also every living person who bears your family name. If you do not know all the required information, you must complete supplementary forms. Next is the consent form for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Give written consent in the presented form. Protocol executed, application received, process approved. See, unironically, bureaucracy is not as bad as people make it out to be, okay? They're like, oh my god, I had to sign a form. Yes, you did. Because they need information, and the form is the easiest way to do so. Bureaucracy like this serves an actual unironic purpose, and asking you to sign one fucking document, and then provide identification proving that you are who you claim to be, is hardly that fucking unreasonable, frankly. Like, Jesus, this is pretty goddamn normal. Come on, esteemed Amar, what's that you were saying about the seals? Here is your document, Mrs. Haydari. Unfortunately, it does not yet have legal force. I can certify it as a sacred Mercanta Tabula Officiale once it has received 2 seals of approval. They are easy to obtain. In the Imperium Court Administratum, servitors have been handling such tasks for 150 cycles. There is one such servitor here on Dargonus in the Rogue Trader's Palace. The second is duty-bound to keep the seal in the Telecos Epsilon system. Goal is clear. Please do return once you have prepared the document. Now that part is needlessly dumb, as they could just have both servitors
A new
here.
challenge for me.
But I suppose it's also to prove that you really want this thing by carrying out some needless tasks. I'm starting to get some Planescape Torment vibes. Like, seriously, do you have any idea how many forms I need to fill up just to fucking make my taxes legal? I mean, goddamn, I have to create a special form saying that YouTube gave me money. It's not enough that I can point to my bank account going, there's money there. There's not enough that I can point to YouTube going, they transferred me money there. I have to procure a third document saying, hey, I have money. And then submit that, plus the other 2 documents, to the government so that they can look at them in fucking triplicates and go, oh hey, he got money there. Wow. And the worst part is, all of this is done solely, precisely, for no other reason than because these fucking little functionary shits need more work for their friends and family. I swear to God, we could trim 98% of every modern-day taxation office on the fucking planet if we simply said, hey, you're going to pay a flat percentage of your total income. Nice and simple. We're just going to take 10% off the top. Donezo. No documentation required. We're just going to take it straight out of your paycheck. It's done. Like the employer does it. You could abolish nearly the entire fucking taxation arm of the government. But no, because that would also cancel about 75 million jobs. Unironically, I am required to utilize a specific new software now. Because at least back in the day, I could simply go to the government and say, yeah, so I earned X amount and I used Y amount and this is my taxes. And done. Now, I've got to use the software to do that because it was too simple to just say, this is how much I got in, this is how much I got out. That's profit. No, you gotta go through a third party. Why? No, because it makes our job more complicated. Well, fuck you two. And don't get me started on the value-added tax. God, okay, actually, I will get started on the value-added tax. You know why? Because you deserve to fucking suffer as well. Plus, I'm just gonna get ambushed here anyways. It's what happens whenever I land on the fucking planet. Value-added tax in Norway is 25%, okay? Everything you purchase has an additional 25% tax placed on top of it, in addition to any other potential taxes, mind you. It's on food, it's on hobbies, it's on everything. Actually, the food is merely 12% rather than 25%. And then, the best part of it all, when I purchase services from foreign delivery services, I need to get the bill, add 25% to that bill, then send that bill to the taxation office saying, hey, I paid $1,000, here's $250 extra for value-added tax. And then they will look at me and go, oh, okay, I've written down that you paid me $250. Now, because you're a business, I can give you the $250 back. Here's your $250 back. Oh, thank you. We have employed 100 people to give me back the money I never needed to give you. Shoot, Arch. Shoot, Arch, please. Right. Back to the video game. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. I am Clementia Versarian, Court Chancellor of the Fonfalensis dynasty. Of all the Dargonis, on behalf of all the Dargonis, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora Fonfalensius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life. Don't know about that, but details. And although still overcome with the bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the traded dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. I will indeed guide this army of precise 1-to-1 clones into the future, I shall. Achilles Scalander, Secretary of the Administratum Department. I hope your journey to Dagonis was not darkened by unwanted travel. Well. The Emperor protected. And may he remain merciful to us until the end of time. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Bourbon Drivestream has been notified of your arrival on Dargonis, and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. What did you say last name was? Versarian. Oh, right, it's Versarian's granddaughter. I'm House Versarian, Lord Adelblard's granddaughter and direct descendant. Ah. I would like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They're very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It's ready whenever you may need it. You are dismissed.
Lost.
I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me. I am certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Fonfalensis Protectorate most useful. Of course, Lady Viserion. I have always dreamt of inseminating Adelblad, and so, since he does not have the correct holes, I shall inseminate you instead. Rejoice. Right, somebody told me to investigate every last fucking inch of this place.
Something of interest.
Toss a coin to your witcher? Granting in light, the coin falls in the clean water and sinks to the bottom. Good. Good. Good, apparently. It's good to hear taxes are higher in the Glor country Norway than Sweden. Our tax system is retarded. Like, again, it's practically a scam just to employ people. Like, I'm not kidding. The entire idea of a system where they ask you to pay 25% only so that they can give you that 25% back after passing it through the fucking oversized, retarded taxation system has got to be the very personification of absolute undaunted and unwarranted waste. How many millions must be used every year to employ this armada of mouth-breathing, oxygen-wasting shitheels? Oh, God, it infuriates me on so many levels. Just imagining how much less tax I would have to pay if we applied even the slightest modicum of basic, common fucking sense to this system. Oh my God. Bureaucracy. See, the problem of bureaucracy isn't that it's bureaucratic. You need bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is really goddamn useful. It allows us to have a very large and very well-functioning society, relatively speaking. But the issue with bureaucracy is also that it is unflinchingly, unfailingly incestuous. It cannot help but constantly fuck itself and its offspring to produce countless smaller, dumber, more worthless iterations of itself. Ooh. If anything will ever cause me to actually move from Norway, which is the most beautiful country in the world, mind you, we have an incredibly high standard of living. It's a fantastic country. It is absolutely fucking Neanderthalically backwards taxation system. Because it is such a pain. Oh, God. You know what the best part is? They're gonna charge me an additional, what is it? I think, what is it? It's $300, I think, a year for the software I am now required to use to deliver my taxes. It's like, goddamn, why don't you just charge me an additional $300 on my taxes at that point? No. We need this to somehow employ a vast class of people whose only job it is to check your taxes. You know, back in the day, it was accountants' job to look for legalistic loopholes to save you money, right? It was to go like, oh, yeah, you know, you don't actually have to pay as much taxes on this. You can get away with some taxation nonsense here. That used to be the employment of a good accountant. And good accountants were valuable for this reason. That is no longer the purpose of accountants. The purpose of accountants is to look over the Byzantine, fucking legalistic framework of taxation policy and try to discover, oh, that's the wrong way, if at any point you have committed any error they might be able to get you to pay more taxes with. Oh, heavens help me. Oh well, it's another expense post, I guess. So, where was I supposed to go? Oh, I figured that the returning to Void ship wouldn't be the other direction of where I was for some reason. Huh. There. One more loading screen. ANCAP Arch. On this, I am most assuredly ANCAP, yes. Like, oh god, our entire system could be made so much easier. So infinitely much easier. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chamber on your dynastic estate. Oh, you don't need to do that. I was just going to waffle around and look for hidden treasures and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. I don't need no guide. I'm on the lookout for valuables. Oh. Was that meant to be a door?
Need to investigate.
Aha! Okay, that's cute. Trimmed with gold. Stuff
Halt.
and things.
I noticed something.
Unholy reliquary. Uh-huh. A multi-melter. Alright, I'll take it. Electrified shard net. That sounds like something Drukhari-esque. Alright. I feel like Theodora has had a few, interesting fetishes developed over the years. Is that where, no, this is just the outside. Alright. Night Shroud says, be sure to find the hidden room. Well, I am certainly going to make an effort. I mean, it's got to be behind the fireplace, right? No? Are you sure? Oh, well, yes, okay, there's not actually any room for any hidden rooms behind the fireplace, so never mind then. Secrets.
I have
Where would
lost.
the secrets be? Where would the secrets be? Don't mind me, I'm just breaking into my own property for some mysterious reason. I don't know why I wouldn't just have the keys to all of this, but hey. I'm sure it's quite common for people to just lockpick their own stuff. Are we having an argument over the trade license again? Yes, video game. I have read the message now. You may move on. Thank you. Game, you have exhausted my patience. Your Lordship, I apologize for this ugly scene, but might I ask that you rein in Mistress Haydari and put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards me? As the Exalted One says, my witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you any unnecessary headache over the seals of the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. I even showed this aid with a temper worse than a sandstorm, the certificate with your signature. But your Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect that the reason for this has nothing to do with my humble personage. Oh no, this isn't about me at all. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us yourself, or should I help you? Whatever is the matter? I am afraid that my words may anger your lordship. The seal you're looking for was lost over a quarter of a century ago. Ah. Her Ladyship Theodora von Valentius ordered a new one to be delivered from the Imperium, but as you may well know, we are a long way from Holy Terror, and with warp storms ravaging the Coronus Expanse, we have been unable to receive a replacement to this day. I presume the one responsible was punished promptly and harshly. Rest assured, Theodora von Valentius ordered to have the malefactor dealt with accordingly. Servitude imperatus, your lordship. He now performs his duties in the Imperium without reservation or error. Good, a servitor. Fairly generous, really, but... However, one of the worlds under Caligos Winterscale's rule, like Dagonus, was granted the honor of keeping the sacred essentials of the Administratum. The archives of House von Valentius mention 3 systems that are presently under the control of House Winterscale. Those would be the Forgotten Twins, Lagran's Belt, and the Nameless Star. I am confident that the Administratum Palace is located on one of the planets there. You have a better chance of finding the steel in the pocket of some rich collector or fence than on the remote world owned by one of your rivals, Shireen. I suggest we make contact with any traders we may encounter in our travels. People in my line of work tend to have a good eye for such things. There is every possibility that someone has waited their whole life to fleece, to return the great relics to its rightful owner. Okay. Let's do the Chancellor then. Oh, by all means, Shireen, I dare not waste any more of your precious balm, that is your time, on matters related to me, if I may excuse myself. All right, granddaughter of Adelblad, have you prepared yourself to bear children? How many? Oh, don't know yet. I'm thinking 7. If I can create an army of Adelblads, there is nothing that can stop me, after all. Does he cause any problems? Why, none at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the von Valentius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. Sounds mildly disconcerting. Van Lucille, your lordship? Not yet. Can't we just make a new one? I'm sure that's within my power, isn't it? No? But I must warn you, your actions or inaction may be interpreted in a certain way. Now, if your lordship will excuse me. That's fine. I'm still... there is Achilles. Okay, I do need to talk to him too, but I need to find the secrets first. The secrets are important to me. Aha! Oh, it's that exact same painting as in the Witcher's Lair. I don't know if I necessarily should read too much into that, but at the same time, it's a little bit sus. A little bit sus. Yeah, well, nothing here. Skull. There's my chair. Is the chair in some way? No, the chair doesn't do anything either. Okay. Let's talk to Achilles then. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you as well as her wishes for your swift return. For as long as the star shines in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Conversation is in code. Your insight deserves credit, Rogue Trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valentius' successor. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Inquisitorial agent, eh? Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronus Expanse. I'm sure you'll find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Out of Terror. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Contrag Voigtviger's accomplices of the capital world. Okay, what do you know about that? Word of his treason reached Dagonus too late. Contrag came to the planet and left it almost immediately once he had sown discord in the minds of gullible and naive. The worst of the rumours had started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed a sign of doubt, but it seemed unlikely that the wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their hearts and now nurtures it in secret. Report on the present state of affairs in the Protectorate. I have already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its content. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargona's political environment. You, however, have only just arrived in the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonas, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whomever is the weakest, or whomever they deem the weakest. The nobles of Dargonas are well-respected, rich and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favour for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drive Stems, the Gapraks and the Sourbacks. I am not going to remember that for 5 seconds. I should also mention the Viserians. Not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. I think I'll be favouring them tremendously, because I am, well, a bit sycophantic in that regard, and they like me. Okay, Drive Stems. The Drive Stems are the ancient governor house of Dargonas. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the Fonfalensis Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drive Stems' rival seems to have misfortune of regular falling victim to Xenos raids. Aha. I found these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drive Stems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. Drukhari fetishists, eh? The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the Fonfalensis' heir, not his servants. Gapraks? The Gapraks hail from a remote Forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiawagama was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. And what about the sauerkrauts? Religious and hard-working, the sauerkrauts owe many enterprises, including distillation manufactories that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the sauerkraut family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the Fonfalensis dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. Well, kill them all, I gotcha. The Viserians are a line founded by Lady Theodora Seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Adelblad hails. On Dargonas, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonas, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favour. The Viserians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Alright. Anything else? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose both to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered through the corona's expanse, warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos. And in this fight, the information from my contact will serve you well. I beseech you, His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Sir Arch of Terror, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Alrighty then. Coroner says, Eliphas at Arch. To open the secret room on the different planets, you need to interact with the computer on your ship and get codes electro-taught. Okay. So I can't actually find anything here now. I've got to go back to my boat to find it. Okay, so I shouldn't spend too much time waffling about looking for random nonsense right now then. Thank you for pointing that out. Otherwise, I'd probably have spent the next hour walking in circles. My gratitude, my gratitude. Let's get this. Hold on. Loot. Excuse-moi. What do you mean, loot? What do you mean, loot over there? Loot in my bedroom? What do you mean, loot over there? Oh, that looks like a secret door. Hello, okay. Buttons.
I have lost.
Buttons.
Shit.
Buttons. Oh, yep. Well, that's not too secretive, but I guess I can't get in there unless I have the thingamabobs. There's not like a tiny little like button or something. That looks like a button. Button. Chandelabras. Yep, I'm presuming I need the things, because I can't actually see anything, and there doesn't seem to be anything to press either. Alright, well, we'll put that off until we return to the boat, then. Is there anything down there? Is there? No, I don't think so. Right, let's get the audience underway. Governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Tell them that I am ready to see the governor. His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Sir Arch of Terror, von Valencius, 20th in his line. Rogue Trader, Keeper of the Sacred Warrant, and blah 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 blah. Urban Drivestem, Governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valencius. It pains me to think she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you'll be happy that I'm the boss now instead of wondering about that. Your lordship, these are centuries-old traditions, sacred customs and rules. Well, shove 'em. Do not forget who it is you serve, Urban Drivestem. If it is the rogue trader's wish to not have a mourning ceremony, then so be it. Okay, he didn't like that, but sometimes we have to disappoint Adelblad a little bit. Perhaps the Pavanu installed by Lady Theodora cares not for the sacred traditions of our founding ancestors, but His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Sir Arch of Terror, von Valencius, is a descendant of the true children of Dargonius. It behooves the ruler of a world to honor its customs. Pavanu. Yes, no, I shall be the one to judge what behooves me and what does not. I'm not liking Theodora. I still think Theodora was a whore and a traitor. I don't think we're going to mourn her. As you will, your lordship. Esteemed His Supreme Glorious Greatness, Her Arch of Terror, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and preserve in spite of this tragedy. Persevere, and let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the Fon Valencia Protectorate to even greater prosperity. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage,
Heresy's
and they had to be subdued.
Fire is the answer.
We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with the neighboring worlds, but the contact are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer leads to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Fon Valencia's dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. What do you expect of me? That's a good question. We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonus and other planets with foodstuff. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communications with the industrial world, Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world of Habos 4? Six. For six? Six. One of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. Such intriguing concern for the Vebus 6 outpost. Happen to own the extraction stations there? Beady eyes widen in fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without the Hubos, the manufactorum on your worlds will need to make haste to find new supplies elsewhere and arrange for new shipments. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Fon Valencia's dynasty. Ah, yes. Yes. Like this. Visited Janus, I did indeed. Truly, the Violet line's one of the oldest in the Fon Valencia's protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen them, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. I don't know if I should tell them that. Because I have my suspicions about the nobility of this world as well, and warning them that I've already decapitated one head of a dynasty for heresy might send the rats scurrying for cover, which is not necessarily what I want. We shall be a pinch more circumspect, I think. The Violet line is broken? Such horrible news! Oh, it will shake many who were connected to the Wyatts and who are used to the immunity that comes with our class. Xenos, your lordship, I don't rightly know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the current expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Moor for decades, but now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were forced to slay some of the Redained Tigers. Luckily. Although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his words and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Weeaboo 6 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now, to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox secession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances are uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of the mind and the spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? And the holdings of these minor houses, where would they happen to end up, I wonder? I mean, I like that. That's quite subversive, but I don't necessarily see how that's going to benefit me. Now, if they truly are merely discontent, that will fix the problem. But I don't know if they're merely discontent. And I don't want to purge them because I don't trust this guy. I was already warned the greater nobility was going to be looking for ways to further their own interests, and randomly purging minor houses, well, again, where are their lands going to end up, I wonder? A limited purge? Oh, tempting. Leaving them be is silly. It's a sign of weakness. Something must be done. If I am going to declare war on the larger houses... It would be nice to have the help of the smaller houses. But again, if they are discontent for reasons other than mere discontent, that would be the worst thing to do. Make arrangements for public purges. It'll only kill some, it won't annihilate entire houses for the most part, and more importantly, it'll send a message to those high and those low. With a hand stern and strong, isn't that right? Your lordship, you bear a strong resemblance to Theodora von Valencia's than I thought. May the star shines upon her path in the darkness, it will be done. Now immediately I'm wondering a little bit if that was correct, but... And the one last thing, your lordship, your inauguration as bearer of the sacred warrant is but a matter of time, and I'd like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship of being represented on Dragonus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. I don't know about that. Which houses can represent me at the ceremony? Any of the noble houses located on Dargonus, the Drivestem family, which I lead, the Gaprak family, Mechanicus, the Sauerkraut, now of Peanut and Diligence. I also mention the Viserians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any of those houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony. Right, well, we are obviously going to give it to the Viserians, because I wish to impregnate his granddaughter. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor for the Viserian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. That's fine, but back to your granddaughter, and her eventual servitude of other matters. She is the Lord Governor, I'm sure she's great at what she does, but aren't there other things more fitting for her? Lord Captain, you've already got like 4 love interests. Are you sure you need a 5th? Yes. Plus, this one's already housebroken, I presume, so, yeah. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Wesserians, whose lineage traces back to a navy officer, are not of the Dargonus nobility. Such decision may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious road trader. Thank you for your proper time. That'll be all, I take it. Thank you for time, my lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. We're obviously going to give it to the Viserians, because the Viserians have a prettier granddaughter than the other ones, and I haven't seen any of the other houses offering up their daughters. If they had, I might reconsider. That, too, is a very old and honored tradition, of course. Can I click this? No. I feel like I need one more, like, go over the hold on. Oh no, I think I just drew a thing. For a moment that I thought I saw something, but I think I just drew a box. Clickety, 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 clickety. Nah, probably nothing. Right. Is that it? Is that all I'm actually doing here? I don't know what the fuck these are. Oh, these are the things that you give things for things. Alright, I forgot about that. Well, I've got more money now, which is probably useful. Nothing more there. I guess that's it. And then I need to go find the seals. And the penal world. Stuff and things. Oh, right, the warrant of trade. I also need to do that, don't I? Yeah, right. Well, back to the boat then, I'm presuming. Back to the boat, 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 boat. And now I need to find those fucking computers that people are talking about. God damn it, computers. Presumably on the bridge, and I need to do the warrant of trade, and many other things. God damn it, you are going to make me walk a tremendous amount, aren't you? There isn't a just return to boat button, is there? No, of course not. That would be far too simple. Terrible news from Dargonis, Lord Captain. The subsidiary hive city, Scipione 84249, has been destroyed in a series of cascading failures. That is indeed bad news. Production has halted and millions of people have broken their vows of obedience and are fleeing. Many of them are perishing in the wastelands and overloading the transport lines leading to neighboring hives. The surrounding residential sections are becoming increasingly agitated by the influx of refugees. What is your directive regarding the distribution of these refugees? What says the advisors? The death of Achilles' his agents troubles me. Huh. Interesting. So they targeted the inquisitorial agents. That's probably not by coincidence. It may not be a coincidence. Until the cause of the disaster can be concretely established, I would avoid letting refugees into other hives. There may be saboteurs amongst them. I recommend setting up prohibitive cordons where the refugees can be contained in the wastelands between the hives. The Emperor bids us face the often cruel strokes of fate with dignity. If the other hives do not wish to accept the unfortunate victims of this tragedy, then let the victims themselves teach those living in the hives a lesson in resilience and humility. I am sure that the ecclesiarchy will aid the refugees in constructing camps to survive out in the wastelands and establish a community of proud desert-dwelling martyrs. Such harsh conditions will be a crucible of fortitude and fearlessness. This tragedy, a feat of spirit. Aha. So, regardless, Heinrich's is build camps. Argenta is build camps. Well, I do enjoy the idea of building large camps, so, I mean, they're going to be living in camps anyways. So, I guess we'll go with Heinrich's then. The team is going to find money for the future. We've managed to reach the hide in the hives, remembering how the rogue trader treated their relatives' neighbors. They could have plotted their revenge if only they hadn't been expelled into the wastelands. From selling the hives to run through unification. They could have plotted revenge if only they hadn't been expelled into the wastelands. What? So I shouldn't have? Oh, I don't know. Okay, so I should, but there's still a quest icon there. God damn it! Did I forget something there? I probably did. Restoration. New hive city will be established on top of the ruined Scipio 84249. Emporium. Space elevator. That sounds pretty cute. -1 security. The dead and the dying will fertilize the gardens that will ring these pleasure chambers. Yep, that one. There is no doubt in my mind, that one, and only that one, for obvious reasons. Listen. The nobles need places to relax in between doing the important work of administrative nonsense, okay? And if those gardens just so happen to be nourished by vast quantities of dead peasants, then so the better be it. In fact, it seems like a significant improvement to me. People were mentioning computers. These computers aren't interactable. Computers, computers, computers. I know there was one computer I touched and it started, belching smoke at me. I didn't think that was a good thing. Yeah, I touched that one and it broke. Alright, I have no idea. Well, we'll just go through the various segments one by one. But I thought I could go that way. Alright, let's check out my quarters, then we'll talk to Argenta. Other side from the elevator. But that's big computer. Oh, you can click big computer. I figured big computer was done with. Lord Captain, the machine spirit of this mechanism slumbers. Should you wish to awaken it, use the key of your blood. Sure. Remind me, who are you again? Pascal is one where the system has come to data stored inside. I wish to know its content. And what returns to the concentrator. Alright, scanning stuff and stuff. Numerous critical errors. The data is damaged. Registering an intact segment. The machine spirit has spoken. The worlds of Kiavagama and Dargonus hold certain data repositories. The mechanism is ready to provide the rogue trader with data keys that it can unlock said depositories. Grace Machine Spirit is willing to transfer the data keys to the head of House Valencius by means of an Elect-2, a hyperdemic to augment. Alright, the caches. Input. So, favors you, the Machine Spirit is willing to commence the calculation procedure that could restore the lost data. Okay, success. But there's only a single phrase, litanies of the motive force. That is all the sacred message will ever sound. Litanies of the motive force. Machine Spirit is a code that will allow you to disable the defenses. Okay. Energy Prime spends hours pursuing the cross-American stuff. Alright, so now I have the key. Right, okay, well, we're gonna have to go all the way back there then. Right, is there anything else on my boat that I haven't clicked on? Oh, nice. A little Eldar helmet there. Good. Oh, hey. Much better. Much better indeed. I feel like Irileth might be a little bit annoyed by the fact that I'm keeping one of her friends as a trophy, but, well, sucks to be Irileth. What can I say? Ooh. Ah, right. The dismissal letter for Kuntrag. Any hidden treasures in the bathing pool of the naked boys? No? I see cakes are still present. Gosh, I presume they switch out the cakes sometimes. You know, instead of just having the rotted pieces of pastry lie there next to the bathtub for all eternity, which would seem a little ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, which way was Argenta? Which way was Argenta? Argenta was this way. Woman, I'll bring you to the big book now.
Greetings. Of course, my mission is all I can think about. Gladly. Listen. Long ago, there was a blessed world. Thousands of stars covered the sky there, so bright that its denizens hardly knew the darkness of night. Thousands of rivers nurtured the soil. Thousands of gardens bloomed every spring, and at every moment, thousands of prayers were flying into the clear air, thanking and praising the Emperor.
Sven Hallgren said for 21 minutes ago, sorry. I remember that you can go down the stairs for later. I will.
But one day, the people learned the meaning of darkness. Like a storm, accursed heretics who had sold themselves to the archenemy descended upon the planet. Shells flew from the sky that desolated whole cities and burned the gardens and filled the riverbeds with the blood of the faithful. Smoke and soot swallowed the skies and the 1,000 stars that had once shone over the world. Among the handful of survivors was one orphan who had watched all her family die, and the garden she'd grown up in burned to ash. But in her heart, she knew the absolute truth. Just these 3 words. The Emperor protects. And knowing that, she never looked away from the black, terrifying, smoke-covered sky. There were no more bright stars to be seen. Except for one. The one star. The bright star. The silver star shone in the sky. And when the orphan smiled at it, the one star fell right into her hands. All the faithful in every corner of the continent who saw the trail of the falling star recognized it as an omen and went looking for the place where it landed. And they rallied together. And with the light of the one star, they found their salvation.
You know, sometimes, Argenta, your religious plappering is truly weird and confusing, but I shall continue to listen rapturously, as you are the closest thing this video game has to an attractive female character. Please do continue telling me about how the star fell to Earth and on top of the head of a small child.
Yes, that was the beginning of her hagiography. It is known that she lived on a world where heretics staged a terrible insurrection. They wiped out all life on the planet, except those whom Saint Argenta managed to save with the one star, and with the strength of her faith. After that, she traveled between worlds, gripped by turmoil on her ship marked with a silver star, and brought hope to the faithful. Numerous accounts confirm this. Her coming helped people turn the tide of the war, and wipe away corruption before the Imperium's main forces even arrived. Millions of people owed their lives to her, but the heretics, having realized their imminent defeat, sent the remnants of their forces after the ship with the Silver Star. It fell from the skies onto an obscure world. There are no definitive records of how old Argenta was at the time. In some chronicles, she's even called the Child Saint, but their credibility is questionable.
Oh.
Either way, she didn't live long, but she left a bright trail in her wake, like a falling star.
You know, this story about a single star is really making me want to break out in song. What was it again? Hurrah, hurrah, for the bonny blue flag who bears a single star. For Southern rights, hurrah. It's a pretty good song, actually, unironically. So what was this one star of the South, then? And was it somehow confederated?
If I only knew. Neither the hagiography nor the legends give a straight answer. Classical iconographers believed that the star turned into a banner woven from silver thread.
It is a blue banner.
Which, when brought onto the battlefield, would shed light that blinded only heretics, but did no harm to the faithful. Most of them portrayed Saint Argenta as a girl carrying this banner. Others think that upon falling from the sky, the one star became a holy chainsword, which Argenta later used to strike down monsters and enemies of the Imperium. In some of the earlier engravings, Argenta is depicted wearing power armor with a silver star on her chest. One theological theory suggests that this armor was, in fact, the relic. Some even think that the one star is actually the ship on which Argenta traveled. I feel that my undertaking will be fulfilled when I find the answer that has eluded the Ecclesiarchy for millennia. I pray we find the way to Salus Prime soon. The ruinous powers must be aligned against us. They stand in the way of faith. One day we will reach Salus Prime and stand before the gates of Saint Argenta's ship. I know it. I believe.
Alrighty then. Right. Well, if our quest is to find the bonny blue flag that bears a single star, I'm all behind that, no doubt about it. I need to check out that Civil War game again, see if it's improved. Its AI was always an enormous goddamn problem. Hopefully they've managed to update it a little bit, because I do quite enjoy the songs and noises that it makes. Right, back to my bedchamber to discover whether or not I have overlooked my secrets. See, Procopus von Vogelberg there in the chat understands. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah, for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. It's a good song. I rewatched Gods and Generals the other day. It is such a goddamn good movie. It is such a goddamn good movie. It's like 3 hours long, and by God, if you do not have a particular tolerance for its style of storytelling, you are going to have a hard time getting through it. But if you do, it really is a masterpiece, as it manages to depict both sides of the Civil War in an equal manner, as people, as heroes in their own rights, as people who fight for what they believe in. See, that's something we just can't do anymore. All the war stories has to be good versus evil. We can't have any nuance anymore. We can't have any, like, exploration of the opposition party's ideas and ideology. Which is truly tragic. That was something that Gods and Generals did quite well. Now, where's that button I needed to press? It might not be in here. They mentioned... Aha! Nope. Okay. Right. Well, that's certainly a pinch unusual. Dusty tomes and the works of several administrative adepts and the memoirs of some unfamiliar explorers from distant death worlds. Mysterium item undoubtedly created by inhuman hands. Yet another skull of that animal we found on that planet. I seem to have collected many skulls of that particular animal over my life. more artifacts of really questionable nature. Drukari Shatter Shard. In human hands. Looks like a las rifle to me, but if you say so. And... ah, that's a... it's a Necron Scarab? Is it? A bit difficult to tell, but it definitely looks Necron-y. Alright, so Theodora von Valencia certainly had some interesting fetishes. Ooh. That's actually a pretty damn nice pair of gloves for me now that I'm using plasma weapons. Yeah, let's use 5% damage. Yeah, that's definitely better. But nothing heretical yet. I mean, it's... bottles of wine, fill a character... it's entirely fine for rogue traders to, you know, get some Zanussi every now and then. Zanussi is acceptable within the rogue trader life. This shaken room is remarkably quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she sought complete solitude. Listening to the muted melody coming from the Vox speaker, you can easily imagine Theodora reading a book with a glass of expensive wine in hand. Several books are stacked next to the sofa, some apparent ancient while others look like they have never been opened. Among Theodora's data has been stored using Codchaser is the phrase Litanies of the Motive Force. It is the title of one of these books. Xenos Anatomy. Alarms have been sounded. Uh-huh. I was going to look at the other ones first to see if there was anything interesting in them. I guess that was a bad idea. Well, thank you for your vigilance. At least there wasn't anything else going on. Okay, so if you choose a book that isn't the Litanies of the Motive Force, you ring the alarm bells. Paranoid, but okay. A hidden button in the spine clicks under your fingers. Boon of Terror and Flame of Purity. Let's not touch anything else. Change the music. Do not change the music. Hold on a second. I think I'm just gonna stand up right here and just, you know, save that real quick properly. Before we start fiddling with anything. Actually, hold on. Did that clicky book change anything? Like, really change anything? Not that I can immediately tell. So, Motive Force. That was the one hint we had from the computer. So, Glass of Wine, Motive Force, Boon of Terror. Alarms have been sounded. Okay. Right. Well, dudes, just, you know, you can stay in here, alright? I'm just working my way through the options, okay? It's fine. Let's see, the Flames of Purity. The wine fills the glass, glittering. You hear a short, faint hum as an unseen motor stirs into motion. Alright, so this bitch developed a security system that activates unless you read the correct book with the correct wine whilst listening to the correct music. I feel as if this isn't merely just paranoia at this point. Like, we're a few steps beyond that. In your secret chamber, to have a triple pattern lock Like, whatever in here is better be worth it. Skitari Choir, the Rhythm of Machine and Blessed Metal. Blessed Metal. Well, I am a Norwegian, okay? Norway is the home of the hard rock metal bands and skiing, okay? So, feels fair enough. You had a loud click inside the Vox speaker, and the piece that was playing earlier starts anew. Alright, well, not that one. Yeah, don't worry about it, gods. This is becoming a bit of a habit. I know, I'm just, you know. Symphony of Honor and Duty Part 2. Ode to the Most Holy Inquisition. Well, Inquisition. Alarms have been sounded, right? Well, never mind. Seriously, I should just tell them to stay. Just guards, just stay. Okay, it's fine. If there's anything that you shouldn't see that's revealed when I do this, I'll just have you shot later. It's okay. The room responds to your actions with a quiet grinding sound, and a small nook reveals itself in the nearby wall. Inside you find the data bank bearing the Fonfalensis coat of arms. Well, that was dumb. Where? In my inventory? Data slate with notes? Has been carefully encrypted. Okay. Now what? Can I read it if I sit down? No. Okay, I guess we bring it back to the boat then. I suppose we should also talk to people here, see if they maybe say something different on the planet. Hello, my cinnamon bun kitten. Come here, do not try to flee. You're already trapped within my house, there's nowhere to leave. Never mind. The cinnamon bun kitten is not interested in conversation at this point in time, it turns out. Adelblard? Nope. Okay, well. Nobody's interested in conversations. Tragic. No. And so we begin the long and laborious walk back to our boat. In between us and it stands countless loading screens. Night Shroud says, when you wish upon a star, stupid mouse. The mouse is dead. The mouse is public property now. Anyone can use the mouse. The mouse is yours. The mouse is mine. The mouse is owned by all. Yes. CNN Ben says, reject Confederate propaganda. Embrace Union Dixie. Dixie's a pretty good song too. They made some good music during the Civil War, I'll tell you. What was the other one? There was another one that was really damn good too. Something about Virginia, I think. I can't remember now. Confederates made the best ones, though. Because they had more artistic and poetic talent, you know? Adams Fowle says, Arch, you ready for the conclusion to the Korean War? South Korea is moving its armor to the DMZ, with Kim saying he has no intentions of avoiding war. Well, you know, they say what they say. I don't think it's gonna happen. Access the data from Dragonus. The machine spirit has revealed the contents of the encrypted data, and I hereby pass it to you. This is where I reach the limit of my authorization, but you now have the option to review the data personally. Alrighty dighty then. Rogue trader, like a lackey, it is humiliating and disrupting to put up with the part of an errant servant to an imperious madman vested with even greater power than that of any rogue trader. Alas, when one side of the scales holds my pride and the other the fate of the Funfalensis Protectorate and my entire bloodline, choice becomes a futile illusion. It would be far too naive of me not to prepare for the worst. Epitaph will decide the future of the Expanse as a whole, but I have some time at my disposal until then. Heirs with the Fonfalensis blood in them will soon be located and brought to me. I cannot afford to delay the choice of successor any longer. Epitaph. Huh. Suspicious. Then again, it would be really funny if under the reign of the Lich, 3 major wars would break out. That would be hilarious. If under Biden we have the Ukraine war, the Palestine-Israel conflict flaring up, and then a nice little fight in Korea as well, yeah, that'd be kind of funny. I shan't lie. I think that'd be kind of amusing. Find the seal on Giannis. Okay, well, I'm not going to bother with that just yet. Forge a path to Weeaboo 6. Alright, well... Weeaboo 6 is the most immediately pressing, so we're going to just head forward for now.
Service guarantee.
Cito asks, did Henry Cavill's 40k project get greenlit? Well, they are claiming to be in some sort of pre-production planning stage now. There is still no money allocated from 40k from Amazon's side, as far as I'm aware. But who knows? Like, I don't know if it started yet, and even if it has, it's going to be years away if anything. I remind you that there was supposed to be a 40k Inquisition TV series about Eisenhorn, which we haven't heard a single peep about in like 3 years now, so, you know, bear that in mind. Mr. Coconut 132 says the song you're looking for is Southern Soldier. Is it? Southern Soldier. After analyzing the augur data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turned the world into a lifeless desert. Jesus. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. Life is fragile, even for fish of such size. Fish do not have rights, okay? There is nothing good about fish. Fish are disgusting creatures that should be exterminated. They are Satan's creations. Wells in Pandora. Set the fire. They have been made for close to a century, though no one knows why. Well, probably because there's fuel there, I'd guess. Knows how long has this one been burning? It's the same as the gate to hell in Russia. The burning crater that's been burning for like decades now, the portal to hell. And people are like, well, we just don't understand why it's burning. Like, I can tell you why it's burning. It's burning because there's still fuel down there. Like, what? Don't be retarded. It's like, why is it burning? Why is it on fire? Because it's on fucking fire. It's like fire burns. What? What do you want from me? Alright, well, I'm not going to go that way for obvious reasons.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Alright, well, I'm going to make it unsafe, at least. And I'm going to have a pop down here instead. Emergency aboard the void ship. A foul warp entity has pierced the thin veil in the Gellerfield and spawned unimaginable beasts of unnatural hues. Loathsome giggling. Sure. I was hoping for some combat there after all. It's been a lot of talking. Zero says, how's your 2024 bingo card looking so far?
It's about time.
Honestly,
Destroy.
I have no idea what 2024 is going to look like. Absolutely fucking none. Like, half of me expects just the most hilarious
If you
catastrophe,
insist, Lord Captain.
but at the same time,
Focus, Van Kellogg's. Focus.
well, that was slightly unfortunate, I guess. Heinrich,
Paint
would
your
you,
death in colors.
would you like to perhaps go ahead and be a bit of a
But of
distraction?
course, Lord Captain. I won't object to it. For the throne's glory.
Part of me is looking
I
at the
won't
world
object
and
to it.
thinking that things are definitely turning around. Because they are. They absolutely are. Things are definitely turning around. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Drowned in scarlet.
I mean, hell, even BlackRock recently fired, what was it, 600 people because their ESG investments were failing. The BlackRock employees no longer need to take ESG scores
insist,
into
Lord
account
Captain.
when they're looking for investment opportunities, etc. The money is absolutely drying up. And it's also, of course, demonstrating quite
accustomed to
clearly
being ordered
that all of
around.
this shit happened because there was money in it to begin with. People, greedy people, saw an opportunity to use this cultural nonsense event of ours to earn some cash. Because people with way too much money and way too much guilty consciousness were looking for ways to soothe themselves, to balm. It's like, oh, I am a rich person. I must have done wrong in my time. I must find a way to make amends for my silliness.
Your reckoning is due.
And so they decided to start investing
Foreboding.
serious quantities of cash into ESG nonsense, thinking that this would somehow soothe their wounded conscience. It turns out, however, that after a few years, they came to the realization that I probably shouldn't be doing that all that much more. Their money was more important to them than their wounded conscience. Why did I just walk inside of the purple goop? And so they've now elected to get back to actually trying to earn money. Weird how that works. Quite,
Nothing I can't do.
quite strange indeed. See, this was always just a flight of fancy. This was always just about very rich people trying to feel good about themselves. And also attempting to see if this couldn't be a PR win.
This battlefield air is good for my lungs.
I don't know if this air is good for your lungs, no. As a lot of people forget
Am I
that
getting paid for this?
because most people are
Tell me, and it is done.
possess the average intelligence of a brain-damaged goldfish, a lot of people thought that
Vengeance
companies
will be
should
swift.
take a moral responsibility. It's like companies should be required to be moral entities. A majority of people actually believe that, retarded though it sounds. And so the companies probably figure that, okay, let's see if people actually believe this. Let's try being moral entities for a little bit and see how people react. People reacted with horrified disgust, as it turns out, and swiftly started begging the companies to stop being such fat, flabbergasting piles of shit. It screamed at me. Right, well, I mean, it's your
For
prerogative
the
to do that.
throne's glory. I won't object to it.
And now they, by and large, just want their money back.
The Inquisition sends their regards.
Alright, well, they're poisoned. If you guys could just bunch up right in front of me, that too would be great. Actually,
I have read tones of
we
military
might have a
tactics.
lovely little line nuke opportunity here.
Another foe painted black.
Thank you for lining up so considerately and making yourselves
Lord Captain.
excellent little targets. I actually don't think you need all that much help, Cassia.
Isn't
I
this a
think
job
you're
for
doing
the
just fine.
serfs?
Lovely.
Is that my blood?
Right, Idira, you have managed to pretty much expend the full... We have the veil degradation there. Just hit them a little bit. Well, you tried. You didn't try very hard, and you certainly didn't succeed, but an attempt was indeed made.
Stop it!
You should probably start parrying, Idira, otherwise... You know, you're going to lose all of your blood.
I shall not fear. Suits my purposes.
Bit disappointed by my
Nothing I can't
61% hit chance. I feel like I could have more.
Not a problem for me.
Be gone.
Jay.
Don't get too cocky.
If only her accuracy wasn't so
I can
unfathomably
do that
poor.
with the right incentive.
Right, Argenta.
Bathe this battlefield in righteous
You know how
fury.
this works.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Signal to Idira to get out of the way, and then
Well
let
done.
her rip. Good grill, good grill.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Idira has become a human shield.
The Emperor is on our side.
My only complaint is that she's a relatively soft human shield.
Naturally.
Not as effective as I would have wanted her to be.
But of course, Lord Captain.
But despite
Let's see
things
to it.
turning around, though, it is an election year.
Deliver us!
I want to continuously point that out. It is an election year, and it is an election year in which
I am
the
a
opposition
navigator.
is
As
more
duty
panicked
demands.
than usual. There was
Isn't
even
this a job for the
there was an
serfs?
article in a Norwegian newspaper the other day,
Frighten me.
which was all like, "Oh my God, like it could be Trump 2.0, could be very different from
object.
Trump 1." Like, politicians are preparing themselves around
For
the
the
globe
thrones.
for what Trump could do. I'm like, okay. What exactly are you worried that Trump will do? Like, he might withdraw from international collaborative agreements. Might he? Like what? The Paris Climate Accord? That thing that cost billions upon billions every year, and it was admitted that COP28 did absolutely nothing? That one? The one he did withdraw from, and then Biden was like, no, this is great. Let's rejoin this. 2 years later, the Paris Climate Accord has failed to do what it needed to do. We need to come up with an even more stricter climate accord now, which just so happens is going to be signed by Saudi Arabia. Yes,
Nothing I can't do.
I'm sure that'll work out very well. Oh, what was that? We aren't going to be too worried about fossil
Already
fuel
done.
extraction? Well, you don't say.
I won't
See,
object to
Cope
it.
28 was a wonderful name for it, because that's really all it was. It was a bunch of people coping and seething about something that they really have not a whole lot of power over, and something
I
that they
know what I'm
keep
doing.
demonstrating that they have no
Am I
power
getting
over.
paid for this?
It's like, he might leave NATO. I've heard that one too. It's like, oh my God. The
As the Emperor
Trump
commands, I
He
act.
might leave NATO.
I'll do
Then
it.
what will happen?
None
Well,
can escape
I don't
the
know.
Emperor's
Well, first and foremost, I don't see any particular reason why he would want to leave NATO, considering he's using NATO as a cudgel against Russia.
Everyone,
But
step aside.
even if he were to leave NATO, what would happen? Well, Europe would actually have to
His ruby flashes are choking me.
pay for its own
give me
defensive
strength.
measures? Like the horror, I suppose. It's like, what do you mean we'll have to pay for our own army? Like, I thought that was America's
may.
job. And well, it clearly is. Like, I do prefer to simply
try
just
to die
hand
with
the
grace,
entire
at
bill
least.
to the US, don't get me wrong. But I also understand
am a
how the
navigator,
Americans might find
not
that
a
a pinch
servitor.
unfair. You know, I
Who
sympathize.
has nowhere to hide? I don't have time for this.
Not to mention, like, even as a European, there is absolutely no doubt that NATO and Europe has taken significant
Suits my
advantage
purposes.
of America's
Not a
retarded willingness to become the world police for free. It's like, we want to keep peace and order. Okay. It's going to be really expensive, you know. Yes. You still want to do it?
Tell me, and it is
Yes.
done.
Okay. See, at the very least, what America should unironically do is demand taxes from the rest of the world in this regard.
Victory awaits.
I'm not even kidding. They should be like, okay, you know,
Deliver us!
you want us to be literally the army for all of your nations? Alright, fair enough.
Follow my lead.
But we are going to ask you to, you know, pay your share on this, was that it? I think that was it. Okay. And hey, even that would be a pretty goddamn good deal when you come to think of it. So the Americans are willing to send their young children to die in conflicts for our benefit? Yes. Oh. So they're basically a satrapy. Yes. Yeah, no, I think that would be a good idea still. Well, I see, if Trump gets elected, the primary effect it'll have is American effect, first and foremost. The European effect will be distant secondary concerns to that, as they should be as well. It's one of those things that baffles me. It's like, oh, but the American president must care about Europe. Must he? Must he really? Do we want him to? The crew has discovered a hidden valley littered with thousands of animal skeletons. Auger data suggests some kind of sleeping gas vents there. It's likely the animals either don't realize that they are headed for a deadly trap, or even come here to die on purpose. Sure, we'll study it. Hey, succeeded. After a series of experiments, the ship's weaponsmiths managed to perfect a few different types of ammunition. Well, I'll take that, thank you. Why not? Why not? Nothing. Oh, I should remember to save too. Your augurs have detected wreckage in the voyage vicinity, but the exact nature of this wreckage remains unclear. Look for the source of the wreckage. The Org crew report that it has registered no evidence of a disaster that could have produced such debris. Okay, continue on your voyage, I guess. Save. Oh, well, that's curious looking. It's a ginormous floating butthole. I don't actually think I need any more plasteel. I've already got quite a few plasteel mines, so we're just going to ignore that. What a pretty little shade. Okay, a random bunch of med kits lying around on the ice world. Why the fuck not? It just disappeared. How very skeptical and weird. Oh well, I'm sure nothing bad happened. Alright, well that was relatively uneventful. That's a second path to Narmar, is it? I wish I could see a little bit further ahead. Because I think it was that, and then that. Alright, well, for shits and giggles' sake, I'm going to explore a little bit more before we go up there. Synopathic message from Regent Argenta Orselio. The navigates are concerned about the fate of Cassia, who disappeared from Eurus 5. The Regent is requesting an update on her current status, and he has also inquired about the possibility of a personal meeting to negotiate and arrange the return of Lady Navigator to her house. The psycho-emissional coding of the received message betrays acute concern. It also contains something that astropaths have failed to put into words. If you'll excuse my forthrightness, I feel it is necessary to tell House Orselio the truth. Otherwise, a conflict with the Navis nobility is possible, which, given the current status of the Coronus Expanse, will only play into the hands of the enemies of the Imperium. Tell House Orselio that Cassia is my personal little cinnamon bun kitten, and that she is being petted and fluffed every day, and if they wish to come and see this miracle for themselves, they are more than welcome to. I'll see you to it, Lord Captain. The Astropass will transmit your consent. Representatives of House Orsilio will be waiting for you on the capital world, Darganus. Receiving members of the Navis Nobilite is always a delicate matter. Please make sure to discuss the details of this meeting with your Chancellor upon arrival. I shall discuss it with my cinnamon bun kitten as well. Right, well that actually does bring me back to Giannis. I might actually go do that then, because why not? Scan. A strange and frightening discovery was made at one of the sites in this frozen world. Countless human bodies suspended in the clear ice of a glacier. The bodies showed no sign of injury. It was as if they dived into liquid water the moment before it turned to solid ice, freezing them in place with their eyes wide open and their hair fanning out behind them. Sounds like a unfortunate teleportation incident to me. Let's continue saving the video game on occasion. Yet more plasteel. It is 5 plasteel though. Sure, why not? That's quite a lot of plasteel. When the rogue trader's ship approaches the Adeptus Mechanicus Void Station, it is met with the hostile scrutiny of the station's defense lasers. An explorator, Lex Mechanics, who introduced himself as Service Unit 4-2, dispassionately inquires how the station can be of use to the rogue trader. Give Transnarium elements to Adeptus Mechanicus. Trade resource. And the station requires rare transmutanium elements of natural gas for research of undisclosed nature. Okay. The same thanks to the Trade Corporation present several containers of unused reserves as a token of gratitude. Mechanicus Respirator, Mechanicus Creations, Fuel. Acquired cargo. Creations, Mechanicus Creations. Okay, so they'll buy fuel. I have 11 units of fuel left. Alright, well, cute, I suppose. Adorable, one might even say. Right, well, seeing as I've already headed down here, I might as well complete my journey down to Giannis. Let's tempt fate with a dangerous warp route roll. I'm feeling lucky. Much aboard the warship has come to an end. Damage taken, rogue trader 6. Okay, well, you know, such is life. Sometimes you blow up. Aha!
I won't tolerate weakness.
Aha! So, my guards seem to be asleep at their posts, which is a little bit unfortunate, especially as I'm not really the close quarters combat sort, I must admit. Alright, let's plonk a greatsword in there, just which I'll pull out of my pocket nice and quick.
Nothing I can't do. I won't heed your cries of mercy.
I will fight if I must.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Are you entirely sure that this is... Oh, I better hope they're low fucking level, otherwise this is gonna get really interesting really quickly.
Yeah. All too easy. Losing me was your biggest
I think
mistake.
we'll try and utilize range defenses here. I can't actually buff myself either. See, this wouldn't be too problematic for a... Ooh, boy. For a combat character, but for me, this is a pinch unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, indeed. Oh, boy, indeed. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. And this part is the DC, the lower deck. Oh, okay, thank Jesus. Alright, thank fuck. Some reinforcements. Otherwise, that would have been not good.
But of course. Be gone.
No!
It's rare that I'm happy to see you, Idira, but I am today. Now, you're gonna cause a fair bit of, you know, whoop fuckery yourself, but it's better than the alternative. 2 demon nets, and they're 66 hit points. That's... Why do I have a 24% chance to hit that one and a 59% chance to hit that one? Somebody please explain this retarded nonsense to me. Tactile launch of the Master Station has and lose half the stack. Yeah, okay, so I should be using that a lot more than I am. 24, 59. God, I wish I could move and shoot, but I can't. Why the fuck is that 24%? That is so weird. 30%. Why the flying fetching fuck? Okay, if I go over there, I'll have 50%. Okay. But then I'll be in combat with her the next turn around, which I'm not super duper happy about. God, I wish I could shoot and move. Right. Jesus. That's obviously out of range, yep. God, none of these are really good options, are they? Okay, well, try to pew that one, I guess. Very nice, very nice.
Strike.
Things in ecstasy.
Already done.
Yeah, well, so much for that. Alrighty then, time to utilize the weapon skill that I've been overlooking this entire video game. Uh-huh. You better hurry up, Idira. I don't expect I'll live long in combat with 2 demonettes. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well, some of them are doubling back. That's something.
Patience has failed me.
Alright, I mean, again, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that you're showing up, but I wish you'd have done it on the other end of this thing.
The
I
enemies of the Emperor will
presume
be
dying
undone.
isn't going to be the end of the... You have 0 action
I
points.
will not.
Why do you have 0 action points? Oh, God help me. Argenta, you... Unironic tard.
They who discern the future on the battlefield.
Christ. Yeah?
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
I mean, sure, it burns Argenta a little bit too, but... Such is fucking life, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Massive minuses to absolutely everything. Yeah, I don't think there's any way of me surviving this. Not a chance in everlasting fucking hell, no. Alright, I managed to parry that somehow. Rapidly dwindling resource, that is my health bar. You know, Adelblad arriving would be... Oh, Cassia. Right, okay. Cassia, you know I appreciate you, but... I don't know if you're the help I truly needed right now. What the fuck? Okay, they're...
That
No,
is
they're...
not the Emperor's
They're bugged. Oh, beautiful.
Heresy's the question.
They're
Fire is the
actually
answer.
just bugged. Oh, that's brilliant.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer. Fire is the answer.
Alright, I managed to parry that somehow. Rapidly dwindling resource, that is my health bar. You know, Adelblad arriving would be... Oh, Cassia. Oh, no, that's not her turn. Okay, fair, never mind. I was wondering if she didn't have action points still. Okay, well, I can shoot that. That's something. There we go. Argenta has turns again.
Rejoice in battle!
Not that that's necessarily going to fucking benefit me much, but... Okay, run and gun.
I will not.
You will, you will. And a 1.
I refuse.
And a 2.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
And a
That
3.
is not the Emperor's will.
What? No, I'm pretty sure this has a fuckload more fire rate than 2.
I will not.
Ah, goddammit. Okay, well, never mind. So...
How dare you?
I'm sorry, little cinnamon bun kitten.
I know what is to come.
I really am, but, you know... Sometimes...
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
Sometimes saving the Lord Captain must come first.
If I may, another foe painted black.
I have never before regretted not picking up the move ability as much as I have now. Ooh, good shot. Very good shot. Alright, I really hope I can... I can't, of course not. That would be... Nor can I really move much either. Taking 2 temporary wounds.
Suits my purposes.
I mean, it's something.
I'll pass.
Did you enjoy that?
Ouchies. Ouchies.
Emperor, deliver us.
Oh, Adelblad, Henrix, good of you to join us.
Heresy's the question.
Right.
Fire is the answer.
I'll do it.
Sir, I know this is going to sound weird, but, duck.
As the Emperor commands,
See, that worked out relatively well, didn't it? That worked out pretty well, actually, yeah.
I refuse. Doubt is for the weak.
Alright, I'm still alive. For the time being.
Anything else?
Zap.
Farewell.
No!
Cassia.
Battlefields are always drowned in
Hurry, my
scarlet.
kitten, hurry.
I need a foothold. But of course.
Jay.
Living on the edge.
I don't know if I needed you to come help. Alright, 1 demonette left. Right, let's immediately use that again. That'll keep me alive.
I can't do.
Now there's only 1 demonette distracting me with her TTs nearby. I can also hit her, which is
Not
nice.
a problem for me.
Argenta, if you'd please. Right.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Once again, look out,
Faith
sir.
without deeds.
Ecstasy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Simple dimple and all that. I request that the gods in my personal abode be,
None shall stand
perhaps
in my way.
stepped up a little bit. As it turns out, the 2 guys that were on duty were not actually quite enough to stop an army of random rebel rousers from breaking in and disturbing my reveries. And see, Cassia, this is why you should stay in my room, my little cinnamon bun kitten. Because if you did, you could scream at them and make them all die with your voice. Let's save whilst we're at it. Brilliant Horseheader says we could keep the world safe much more cheaply by simply Canadian healthcaring everyone outside of the United States. You'd be surprised how expensive that would be. And Night Shroud, demonettes have a stacking 1 AP aura. They do indeed. More fucking plasteel, Jesus Christ. I am going to actually drown in plasteel. I don't want more plasteel. Rations. I actually don't have a lot of provisions, so we'll pick that up. This cold, windy planet is covered by a raging sea of mustard grey grass, so tall it reaches an average human's waist. The monotony of the endless steppes is occasionally broken by chains of murky green lakes, but the Augur crew spots a far more interesting anomaly, a scar, running several dozen kilometers deep, splitting the world's equator in two. After 2 exploration watches, the crew intercepts a faint signal coming from one of the labor settlements in the deep chasm. Due to the unstable connection, the foreman mistakes your vessel for a winter-scale ship. One was due to arrive 9 cycles ago. The foreman grimly reports over the weak channel that the adamantine ore deposits on the world are nearly depleted, and the planet will be fully mined out in less than a decade. With some difficulty, he picks up enough words to understand the ship in orbit belongs to another rogue trader house, then awkwardly apologizes and falls silence. Well, that's unfortunate for him, and it may be the reason also why nobody's popping up to meet you. The Winterscale dynasty may very well have cut you loose. Now, pirates have seized an Imperial outpost. The Augurs detect the pirate ship is warming up its engines, quickly reloading cannons. It's preparing for battle. Attack! Attacking is always the correct option. Void
I
ship
lift
combat.
up my voice in prayer for this vessel and its hallowed guns.
1, 2, 3, 4 Viper-class destroyers, eh? Huh.
Onward!
Alright.
Fire
I kind of don't want to burn straight into the midst of all that, but
Macro cannons! Volley!
I suppose that's my best option. And I've got a new dorsal weapon, one with a hell of a lot better range as well.
Lead them!
Oh, new ability. Vulnerability scan. Ah, right, I did pick that up. 2 extra range. 1, 2, still out of range. Okay, what if I vulnerability scan that thing? What does it reveal? Nothing, as far as I can see. Right, so they're going to probably turn around this, so let me reinforce... Oh, God. So, how is this? Is this the starboard's side or my side? So if I want to reinforce this side, I reinforce the right shields? Yes, okay. Right. Torpedoes. Of course, then the AI does the dumb thing and goes the longest conceivable way around. And I'm like, I'm clever. You're going to turn this way. Like, no. Actually, we're going to go the longest possible path we can, because, as it turns out, we are deeply, deeply retarded.
Fire the lance batteries.
Well, if retarded they be, then retarded so they shall be, as that's actually pretty fine, as it'll allow me to pass by all of their torpedoes.
Another salvo!
And concentrate all of my batteries on this unfortunate little Viper class down here.
This one's going down.
Yep.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars!
Might as well take a quick pot shot at this
Another salvo!
torpedo battery as well whilst I'm passing by. Not that it's going to achieve much, but hey. Once again, the poor AI has been foiled by its own complete and utter incapability to utilize its main primary weapons. And apparently they didn't give them anything but torpedoes, which is nice for me. That means this will be a very cheap battle. Oh, no. Aha. You have fired at my heaviestly shielded quarter, you silly, silly, silly incompetence. Ignoramuses. Alright, let's just pivot.
Set the course.
Right on around. That should still be outside of the plasma torpedoes. Turning
Fire
circle.
the launch batteries.
And we'll blow up another one of their silly little
Strewn
boats.
across the stars. This one's going down.
Right, one of the simpler void interactions, this. I just hope it doesn't dump another load of torpedoes into the void, which I'm then going to have to spend the next turn, 3 turns dodging. Cheeky little bugger.
Lay in the course.
Still not entirely sure what the vulnerability scan did, but... highlight its weak points. Ah, there you go. So a little thing appeared on its front hull there. Okay. So in this case, the vessel's weak point is its heavily armored prow. I see. That makes frighteningly little sense, but if you say so. And you are sadly out of the firing arc of everything else. Okay. Right, well, I mean, electing to flee is...
Set the course.
well, it would be intelligent if it weren't for the fact that I'm a lot faster than you. See, we're in the void now, and thus
Fire
gravity and inertia holds limited sway over our actions. Meaning that if you have larger engines than the enemy, you're probably faster than the enemy. Bigger ship, go fast. Small ship, go slow. Small ship, die. Ravaged Void Station. Oh sure, why not? Alright, well, every void station I've visited so far has been infested by demons.
My
I'm
warp
sure
sight reveals something.
I'm sure this one will be better. What am I doing? Oh.
The Inquisition taught me many things.
Victory awaits.
Why did I want to do this? I hear coughing. Hello? Okay. Hello? Who are you? Why are you here? Why are you hostile?
I'll lay claim to the stars.
I guess all of these questions are, at the end of the day,
The
more or less
Emperor
irrelevant
sets my
to
path.
just shooting them.
The light of terror shines for us.
They're red, and thus I know they're bad guys. Open
do it.
fire.
Emperor!
Quickly.
Give me strength.
That's quite a lot of bad guys, actually. Alright, Cassia, you get into cover there. Heinrichs. Not very slow is not very fast is the answer to that. Okay, well, you hang back there. Jay, you can be the bait down there because, frankly, I don't like you, so if you die, that will only be good. And Idira, yeah, same with you, more or less. You can stay out in the open, too. That's fine.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Argenta. Get your full auto ready.
That is not the Emperor's will.
Ooh, temptation to rock out of cover and release at full auto point blank range. Nearly. nearly overwhelming.
As the Emperor commands, I act. Oh. This is why I was chosen. I'll do it.
Reload. Dear, my dear. Let's see. What's your range? You can't reach that, can you? No, you can't. You're pretty close, though, which means...
On it.
Fry! See, for all of my distaste for Adira, I can't deny that her ability to kill huge clutches of enemies like that is pretty useful. Right, buff, you can't actually see Heinrichs.
Anything else?
Buff J then, I suppose. Oh, Jesus, more? Okay, well. Ulas, the slasher. I feel like circumventing this
Never
entire
wavered in the face of adversity.
dungeon has led me to a point where I'm kind of just going to have to fight all of them at once, which I don't know if is a good thing. I keep forgetting to go to the thing to buy more things, too, which is unfortunate. That actually gives me an area attack, which is pretty cute. Overheat plasma weapons for 2 turn. That's not great, though. I really should have a backup weapon for that, shouldn't I?
Suits my purposes. You don't stand a chance!
Nice.
Nothing I can't do.
Nice. Argenta. Buff.
Suits
Buff.
my purposes. Already done.
Going for Gold 85 has been a member for 11 months. Comment for the Bridge God. Thank you very much, sir. The first 11 months of your servitude is up. Only another 11 years yet to go.
You'll regret this.
Damn. That was a lot of toxic needles. Somebody down there has an automatic needle gun, which I really, really want.
No mercy for heretics!
Excuse me? No mercy for heretics. I think
Enjoy your luck while you still
we've
draw breath.
we've got our position somewhat messed up here. I'm pretty sure that's my line, actually. I'm the one who's supposed to say no
Step
mercy for
aside.
heretics, because, you know,
The
you're the
navigator is
heretics,
coming.
not me.
I'm not accustomed. Witness the fury of House Orselio.
Then again, I also just realized that I am the one with the both sanctioned and unsanctioned psycho on my team, so...
The navigator's might.
Jesus fucking Christ, Cassia, though. I feel like Cassia's damage level has gotten a little bit ridiculous, if I'm to be entirely honest. She's almost a little bit overpowered.
In the name of House Orselio, I
God
shall
Emperor,
prevail.
move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
Alright, Argenta. Forward.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
In the Emperor's name.
Doubt is for the weak.
Remy the Lead Rain. Okay.
I'll do it.
Well, Remy, meet Argenta. The Bolter Rain. And Cassia just murdered like 75 people, kind of casually. Is that a... No, that's an autogun. I was wondering if that was a Milter there for a moment. Jay. Useless, useless, useless woman. He has 239 hit points. You go over there and shoot him a bit. I love the damage models.
I can do that with the right incentive.
Alright. Get your melee weapon back up. Get into defensive stance. And maybe
You've
buff
got a
arch.
problem, I've got a prize.
Gil the Psycho. There's an awful lot of named characters on this boat, I feel like. Oh, well. Lots of walking
Get me a
XP
target.
bags.
For the throne's glory.
Pathetic. You missed.
I won't object to it.
You already buffed Jay, didn't you? So that was entirely pointless. Alright, +1
Let's see to
resolve.
it.
Why the fuck not? Argenta yet again. My darling, darling Argenta.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
That person over there believes that he can match you in rate of fire. Prove him wrong, my dear. In turn to come under an attack.
I'll do it.
Here's the referred commandment to. Release the peas. You know what? I've got loads of resolve now, so let's try to finish this fight. And 1,
Doubt is for the
and
weak.
2, and a mini.
For you, my emperor!
Sandoom says, Arch,
Faith
does it
without
take a
deeds
lot
is
of orcs
worthless.
to actually hate something? Like go out of their way to kill, not for fighting's sake, but that thing needs to die. I don't know if orcs are capable of hating something like that. I mean, even the Tyranids that come by and eat their home is, it's mostly just funny. Now, they do have different degrees of preference, however. Like, they're actually really fond of humans, for example. Like, they really liked Yarick. Yarick was a great dude in the minds of the orcs. Because Yarick gave them a great fight and never stopped fighting. No matter where the orcs went, Yarick would follow them. No matter where the orcs showed up, there would be Yarick.
Without deeds is worthless.
This is one of the reasons why orcs will actually agree to be mercenaries for humans. Because orcs think that humans are pretty fucking cute. You know? They're kind of like elephants. It's a fun little fact, but elephants actually believe that humans are adorable. I know. That doesn't mean they won't step on you or anything, or kill you if you provoke them in even the slightest fashion, but theoretically, scientifically, when an elephant looks at a human being, we've been able to measure their brain waves and determine that they look at us in the same way that we look at fluffy cats. Which is funny. I don't know what you're going to do with that information, but now you have it, so, you know. Be pleased. Can any of you do anything interesting? Jay, so he's one step away from you, which means I don't think he's actually in reaction range, so if you do
Am I getting paid
that,
for Jai Hedari?
then you take no damage. Brilliant. Okay, I can do that again.
Tell me, and it is done.
I do like her rate of fire. I'm just more disappointed by the fact that her rate of fire doesn't actually do anything. It achieves nothing, but I don't know. Psycho Star donates $2. Say, I proffer my tithe. Will I need to serve 12 years? No, no, no. For $2, you're gonna serve 20. Like, listen, Sandoom and Night Shroud, every one of these guys, these have donated quite a lot, so their sentences are short, merely a few decades. For $2, I don't think you're going to get out of jail anytime soon.
Give me strength.
We work on a system of reverse incentives here.
As duty demands.
It's not very fair. In fact, it's the exact opposite of fair.
If I may,
sometimes.
painted black.
Right, have we all died yet now? Like, is everybody dead? Can we move on with our lives?
This battlefield air is good for my lungs.
That's a very weird sword you're using there, is that? I'm pretty sure that's a Drukhari weapon, actually.
I can do that, with the right incentive.
A fascinating choice of paraphernalia.
Okay, now I'm really riled up.
Oh, come on, come all. Gather up, gather up. Preferably all in that exact area, so that I may use my AoE on you.
I'll put my psychic abilities to use. But of course, Lord Captain.
Right, just keep healing her so that they can keep hitting her. It's like, will I... What does Jay exist for? Only to suffer? Yes. Jay exists for the sole reason of being hit repeatedly. Yadira.
But of course.
You heal her up too? Make sure that she's nice and healthy, so that she may never stop getting punched.
Was that you?
I like this new psychic ability. This new psychic ability turned the temporary dot of setting somebody on fire to a permanent dot of setting somebody on fire. It literally means that if you put it on them, they will never stop being on fire, which... that's a pretty cool ability. Like, I have the ability to set you on fire and turn you into an eternal flame.
Not a problem for me. There's nowhere
Imagine
to hide.
all of the power conservation problems you could choose by making somebody into an eternal flame. Imagine the abuses of basic thermophysics that you could do by turning somebody into an actual, literal, unending source of fire.
Be careful
But
not
no.
to cross my gaze.
We don't use it for that. We don't use our psychic powers to,
If
you know,
insist, Lord Captain.
liberate humanity from literally every single power constraint ever created by creating infinite hydroelectric power via boiling water or something like that. No. We use it to extend the suffering of individual people we don't like.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
And I enjoy the idea that the other point of view never even occurred to the population of the 41st millennium. Nobody even considered that other option.
Emperor, deliver us!
And yes, I'm keeping him alive because I'm kind of hoping it'll get everybody else to just gang up there.
Too bad I never leave debts unpaid.
I won't object to it.
Not a bad little gatherer.
For the throne's glory.
Probably good enough for government work. I'm going to hold on a little bit. Alright, did you make sure you've got your rapid fire thing set up?
Will do.
Make sure that Idira continues to be in pain. And we might as well squash that man's brain now.
Gone.
You know, he gets to have an end to his suffering. It's just Idira who doesn't get to have an end to hers.
Let's see how they respond to this.
Very important to differentiate between the two. Speaking of, hello!
Nothing I can't do.
Kablooey. Yeah, oh god, I should have, oh, dumb. I should have done that first. I would have splashed like all of them if I'd done that first. I need to get used to remembering that ability that I can just randomly boost my damage by an enormous amount for no fucking good reason whatsoever. Ah, god, I see basic geometry is still a bit of a challenging concept for this fucking game system. See, I should be hitting all of these, but because the video game doesn't quite understand how elevation functions, I won't be able to. Oh well.
How dare you? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Cassia's beginning to have a little bit of a brain bleed moment, but that's fine. It's not the
A
worst thing
moving
in the
target
world.
lives longer. You've got a problem.
She
I've
generates
got a
hit
prize.
points after all, so it's okay if she has a little bit of an aneurysm every now and then.
If I may, crocodile grace, at least.
Aneurysms are good for you, says Cassia.
Emperor, deliver us!
That's a cool little helmet you've got there. Is that a gas mask? Oh, it is. Okay, for a moment there, I thought that was some kind of a blood-packed helmet. Which would be a rather interesting thing to pick up in this part of the galaxy, but... Nah, I don't think so, sadly. It's just like a little Stahl helm with a gas mask on it. Oh, tragic. Make sure that Jay never stops suffering. I can do that again, apparently. Right, activate that. And then do
All
that.
too easy.
Yep, that worked pretty well. That works pretty well indeed.
Isn't this a job?
Swoosh.
I am a navigator. Duty
Flat.
demands.
Right, I still don't know why I killed all of these people. But they're certainly dead now, and they seem to have had a good amount of Xenos nonsense on them as well. Shuriken pistols,
Follow my
auto
lead.
guns, a Drukhari blade, a fancier-looking shotgun.
What is that?
What is what? Oh, that's loot. There you go.
None shall stand in my way.
Right, well, I believe that the reason why I came here and killed all of these people is because they had stuff, and I wanted that stuff.
It's about time.
Plenty good enough reason for me. I see no pressing concern. My motives were pure and all that.
A new challenge for me?
Ah, so that was done to circumvent an ambush, I guess. Which is all fair and good. I feel like they should have gotten ambushed. I feel like I should have gotten a free turn. But no, the video game is not that fair. Gay video game. Very gay. Point of interest detected. Yeah, I'm pretty sure... I'm pretty sure I've cleared it, actually. Right, that actually didn't quite lead me where I thought it would lead me, but... that's fine. One more bunt of dangerous warp travel. I really need to stop doing that. It seems quite hazardous to my health, but hey, we're on the other side now. Did I remember to do the thing where you, like, check for... Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. Did I remember to do the thing where you check for things, or have I just forgotten to do that? Because if I have, I've kind of, like, just wasted a lot of navigation points.
I'll purge you from existence.
Nurgle demons today, eh? Well, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of variety in our enemies, I suppose. Let's not step in the green goo. I presume it to be hostile.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
As the Emperor commands,
Argenta, you just prepare your heavy weapon. Idira. We've got a grumbly fella over there. Set him on fire, please. And make sure he never stops burning.
Stop mocking me.
Did you just summon demons? No. Okay, good.
Was it you? Or...
Right, that's probably just about all the psychic nonsense I can afford to engage with.
Focus.
Before I start summoning more friends for our adversary.
Throne take you. Let's see to it. But of course, Lord Captain.
Stinking corpses!
I still really don't think that the worshippers of Nurgle, not just the worshippers. I really don't think Nurgle demons would really use stinking corpses as an insult.
was that on purpose?
Not on purpose, but I did enjoy it. I really, genuinely don't think they'd be using stinky as an insult in general, really.
In righteous fury.
I'll do it.
Ah. Okay. Yeah, I figured that 2 enemies wouldn't...
As the Emperor commands,
probably wouldn't be everything. Cassia.
Isn't this a job
Pop
for
that
another
man's
fellow
brain,
painted blue?
please. There you go.
If I may, try to die with grace at least.
You may continue popping people's brains.
Me? Another foe painted black.
I'm shaking my head at Cassia these days. Like, she's...
Forge ahead!
The amount of power in that wench is starting to get mildly ridiculous, frankly.
Will do.
Oh.
I won't heed your cries of mercy.
Enemies spawn nearby. They're like, this'll be an ambush. What are you gonna do about it? And she just kind of kills all of them instantly. That's a pinch more complicated, I admit. Get your characters in position. So, there we go, guys. I'm not allowed to be in the red zones. Like, the enemy spawns, then looks at me and goes like, could you just, could you scooch over a little bit? Oh, I'm sorry.
To being ordered around.
Did I stand in your spawn zone, did I? Oh, very... I'm so sorry. Let's just take a quick pause here so we can relocate each other so we don't break any deployment rules. Now, that's very, very important that we don't break any employment rules for the Nurgle worshippers ambushing us. Now, they might be Nurgle worshippers, but that doesn't mean that they don't follow a certain, code of dignity and honor, I guess.
There is movement in the Imperial. Anything else? What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Sorry, Cassia.
Never leave that unpaid.
Here, I'll heal you. Don't worry about it.
Can I go back now?
I'm starting to think that bringing Idira on these missions to warp-infested hellholes is maybe not actually such a great idea after all. I don't know why.
Now I'm really riled up.
He just healed, didn't he, that little piece of shit? I mean, they are Nurgle zombies, so...
Stop hitting me, Ashmog!
I wonder where my servants got all of these weapons from. Because I'm pretty sure these are the corpses of my servants, and I'm pretty sure I disarmed the lower decks. Not that I see any sign of that anymore, mind you. As apparently the lower deck rabble have no issues getting a hold of significant quantities of fucking weaponry on this rogue trader vessel. Oh god, I've actually got nowhere to go, have I? I am actually, unironically, stuck. I very much so am, yeah.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
There you go, I kicked one, and I think that's about the extent of Argenta's turn, as she's kind of surrounded.
Curse her.
Curse you, miscreant!
Be gone.
Alright,
I shall
step
not
out of the way of
run.
that. Hum, 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 hum.
Suits my purpose. Nothing of value has been lost.
One less enemy.
Nothing I can't do.
The toxic needles don't quite do the damage I was
Suits my purposes.
hoping for, I will admit.
Already done.
Right, Jay, you are currently the one keeping most of them occupied, so please continue to do so.
Nothing I
Argenta,
can't do.
aiming bonus. Let's hope Jay has some AoE attacks. Heinrichs, anybody need healing? Not immediately. Alright, start smashing.
Let's see to it. I'm done with this one. For the throne's glory.
And all the way at the very end, poor little Cassia.
Van Kellogg's. Focus.
Not actually a whole lot of good AoE targets. At least no good AoE targets that isn't going to involve half of my own crew, but we can still splash a few more.
Foe painted painted black.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Isn't this a job for the serfs, as duty demands?
One more?
Me? If you insist.
There. Well, we were outnumbered, and then Cassia had a turn, and now suddenly there's not as... We're not outnumbered anymore.
I'll paint
Weird.
your death in colors.
Argenta. Cassia has done her part, now
I'll
it's
do
time
it.
for you to do yours.
Heresy's the question. Fire
Doubt
is
is
the
for the
answer.
weak. None can escape the Emperor's judgment. Eradicated.
Delicious. Absolutely delectable.
In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave.
Reed Smith donates £2. Hey Arch, do you have a favourite Chaos God? Zinch, of course. Zinch is the best
is
Chaos God
unacceptable.
because Zinch is cute and Zinch comes up with dumb shit. And Zinch is kind of like
Without deeds,
a massive, magically infested
I refuse.
demon kitten,
I'll do it.
okay? Because you know how a cat, when it does something retarded, and it just gets back up
As the
again and it
Emperor
looks at you,
commands, each
as if that was what it
strike is a
intended to
prayer.
do all along, and it just meows like, yes,
Doubt is for the
I
weak.
did indeed intend to fall off that ledge and brain myself upon the ground. That was part of my
I'll do it.
Kekakudore. That's Zinch. It's literally written in his codexes that, like, Zinch is never actually defeated, because even when Zinch loses, Zinch planned to lose. That's Zinch.
Cover me.
He's just a little bit of a shy and a little bit of a retarded
On
kid.
it.
A very large blue and gold one.
Don't frighten me.
There. They're all dead. Though I will say, you know, traveling the warp lanes like this is an excellent way to get huge quantities of loot. Not necessarily valuable loot, but loot nevertheless. Experience too, yeah. And yes, I have indeed been forgetting to press the fucking chart routes button. Ah, God. Help me. Right, am I back to Giannis yet? No. Well, that's merely yellow. Yellow is nice and safe. There we are. Okay, we're back at goddamn Giannis at long last. And that is where I'll wrap it up for now. We didn't get to see my sister's box, which is a sentence that could be misconstrued, I admit. But at least we're clearing more administratum paperwork, so that's something. I'll go back to get that, and then head back up there, and I don't know. The exploration part. I might skip some of it. I don't know. Because I feel like, on the one hand, there's some decent story stuff going on in the exploration part, but I also feel like there's a lot of not really stuff going on in the exploration part, so... Anywho, with our accustomed 3 hours up, I will bid you adieu. So, thank you all very much for watching and for your generous donations, as always. And I'll see you all again on, well, definitely on Saturday this week, and probably also on Sunday, at least some of you. Have a good night.